Hello everyone and welcome to this episode that is coming from Cambodia.
It tastes like Cambodian, but it looks different.
We're at the Farmhouse Resort, and when I came here I thought all I'm going to do is take a few pictures, enjoy everything and come back. I did not know that there was state-of-art equipment waiting for me for podcasting, and Hannes Schmid was having lunch just a table away from us, so I took matters in my own hands and he agreed for an interview.
And I start to live on the dump site because I've been told that there I found these children.
If you don't know, Hannes Schmid is a photographer turned philanthropist that built a school in Cambodia under Smiling Gecko.
We call it this 150-hectare hope for Cambodian people.
So without further ado, and we did not have much time for this episode, let's dive into it.
Isn't this because we have a really bad education system?
Just like butterflies, we gather colors and patterns through every experience. This podcast is my collection of the most vibrant ones I have found, their stories, their transformations. Welcome, I'm here with Hannes Schmid, the founder of Smiling Gecko. So would you like to introduce yourself? I know you have a very interesting life, but would you like to do a quick introduction maybe?
Yes, my name is Hannes. I'm born in Switzerland in 1946. I'm 78 years old, and I'm an artist. So I traveled my whole life, and in 2013 I changed my life, and I started to build up Smiling Gecko as a local NGO and as a Verein in Switzerland. So these two organizations, they work together. Switzerland is a facilitator. We have to request funds from Switzerland for our projects. They allocate the money, and we run here our organization with school, with handcraft like carpentries, metal workshops, hotel, then butchery, bakery, everything we need. And also know a lot of agriculture, that means vegetables. We also have animals here like cows and buffaloes, chickens, fish. And well, now we also have something new. This is a cultural center. It's the Gong, and this
Where
is
we're
actually
at right now.
yes. And this is Smiling Gecko. It's 150 hectare, and we call it this 150 hectare hope for Cambodian people.
So how did you get into this? How did you start? How did you build up this everything?
Well,
Did
it was an
start-
accident. I found a girl in Thailand. She was Cambodian. The father burned her face, her body, sold her into a begging syndication to an old woman. The old woman sold her to a begging group in Thailand, and there she was begging on the street. I found her. I could not accept that. She was badly burned, face, body. And I paid money for her, put her in a car, smuggled her across back to Cambodia, put her in an orphanage. And I've been told that 250, 300 children, mainly girls, been splashed in acid, burned, and then being sold into this kind of trade. I said I cannot accept it. And I start to live on the dump site because I've been told that there I found these children.
Where is the dump site?
Dump site is outside of Phnom Penh. That's where everybody
Right
dumps the
outside.
rubbish. You know, it's the waste hills. Right?
So not too far
From Phnom Penh, no, it's a little bit outside, about 6 kilometers of the city. Not from here, we are far away. We are 60 kilometers away. But then I started my NGO, buy rice, buy milk boulder, water, start building a school, start agriculture, failed, lost everything, lost all my money, started again, till I finally decided to buy land, 9 hectare of land, 60 kilometers in the north, and start to build up what is here now from in 10 years from 9 hectares to 150 with structure of business.
Does it still happen, the burning today?
Yeah, of course, it still happens. Also, early child prostitution, forced marriage. Young girls are sold for $3,500 into marriage. It's every day. It's Cambodia. We are the number one land of trafficking, child trafficking, sex trafficking. It all happens here.
Mm-hmm. And the children who attend your school, they're from around here?
They're all from here. Some of them, at the very beginning, I moved families from the city because my idea was I built several farms and then I bring them away from this inhumane life. And then I saw that it becomes very difficult. I realized that I have very poor families out here, so I started to invest into the poor families here. And so finally, they're the local farmers. We have over 30,000 people familiar with what we do. We have 400 farmers enrolled in our education agriculture school, and we have 520 children in our school from age 3 up. We are in grade 8 now, and every year we take 50 to 70 more children in. By 2028, we are 920 students, and then we go from nursery, 2 years old, then up to the university. Everything is on one place.
You are building the university at this moment, right?
Yes, now we're in the planning because it's quite a big thing. We have partners, the University of Zurich, the University of Applied Science of Zurich, the ETH, and some other universities. Because I'm not an educator, we can only build the infrastructure, but then you need proper universities for the curriculums, for the whole system. And we also have to find partnership with the local universities, partnership with the government, partnership with the local corporations, because it's a University of Applied Science. And that's completely missing here. It's the skill, right? I mean, you can do hotel management, but you have no chefs and nobody do your housekeeping, you can't run a hotel.
But
so actually,
you get all these employees
everything,
and you train everyone.
Yes, everybody.
Even your school is very applied, isn't it?
Yes, very applied. Our children already from first grade on learn about agriculture. They have agriculture education.
They'll know more than us then.
Yeah, they have also, they have art, they have music, they have sports. Actually, everything what in our countries every child has access to. Not everything given by the school, because parents buy some extra dancing classes for their children, music class and piano, violin. Here we do all integrated into the school, because the parents, they don't have the possibility or the knowledge or the money to do anything with their children.
But they might even learn more than if it's very applied, if you teach them all.
It's very important, today, when I grew up, we boys had to learn to knit, to sew, to cook, to clean. That was a part of our education. Of course, nobody does this today anymore. Yeah. But here, it's a lot of things necessary what we had in our sisters in the 40s and the 50s. We became only rich because we had this kind of school system. And Europe became rich. There are 3 letters. It's KMU. It means in German, small and medium corporations. When you had only 9 years of school, you were able to do an apprenticeship in a company. So you become a cook, become a baker. And then the system was like this, that later on you can do some extra classes, some extra schools, and you still become an engineer, and you still could go to the university. You couldn't go the way to become a doctor or a scientist, but everything you need in engineering you were able to achieve. And that's actually how we build, especially Switzerland is built on. We not build on banks and pharmaceutical company. The backbone in Switzerland are exactly these small corporations, right? And that's what we copy here. It's very simple. You don't need to study this in a university. You just keep your eye open and you see what brought us the success. Why is Switzerland, with about 9 million people now, the 3rd richest country in the world, and the Swiss franc the strongest currency? It's not because the banks, and it's not about pharma. It's about this KMU. It's about this kind of technology, all these kind of things we do, good basic education.
I think in Switzerland you still have all these very hands-on apprenticeships and
we're losing it. We're losing it. But I think that is a big way to rethink. Because at the end you have engineers, but who is building the rest?
Yeah, we don't all have to have university.
You have a PhD in bakery, but you don't even know how to bake a bread. So this is a bit, I think we went a little bit for a while in the wrong direction. Too far. And look at hotellery, that's where you are, study. Do you have chefs? No. Do you have people in the kitchens? No. Do you have anybody to do housekeeping? No. So the problem is, how do we run our system without all these people who are skilled?
Yeah. But so here at the resort you do have a lot of employees, but you have to train them.
Yes, it's a 3-year, 4-year, a carpenter is 7 years.
Okay. But for a chef, you
take
the chef,
them in there's different things. Well, we take them in. It's about 3 years till they get the basic, nearly similar to like Europe, right? but then not every is talented here. You have always considered their background. You know, they never had a kitchen at home. They never ate the way, you know, you have to prepare. At the beginning, they're very reluctant to eat what they cook because for them it's alien. It tastes like Cambodian, but it looks different. You know, there's
because of the plating or what?
Yeah, the plating, and also about it's a much more defined taste. So they just feel this like, oh, it's like my mother's, but it's different. Different tongue, taste, you know, it's everything different. And I think to become a chef, it's an amazing thing because you need to know so much. And it's like with everything you need to develop a passion for it. Of course, everybody wants to become a Michelin star chef, but not everybody can become a Michelin star chef. And then when you grade down into a regular restaurant, hotel, this is a very hard job. Long hours, Saturdays, Sundays,
and there's not
holidays.
Much creativity or
and there is also
involved.
not much creativity and not much money at the end. I think the whole hotel industry have to start changing. Otherwise, they have no people anymore. You know, it's get harder.
What would you say would be a tip for Switzerland or Europe?
Well, they have to change better salaries. They have to appreciate them better. Maybe I always say the biggest mistake we did when we had an apprenticeship is you finish your 4 years, right? They should have lifted up to a matura, to a higher education, because 4 years doing this is equal.
And then you don't have anything.
And then we don't have any problem anymore. Now everybody wants to go into the higher education. Yeah. Everybody wants to go to university, everything. And then at the end we have everybody on university, but we had to water down the level of the university because not everybody can go up there. In the 50s, you know, there were maybe 15% made it to universities. We became workers, you know, carpenters, plumbers, you know, and we were building actually Europe.
No, it's very hard to find.
French, the Italians, they were building by their hand, and now everybody's IT and ChatGPT and AI, and you know, of course, you can't stop that, but we also have to.
What do you think of that? What is your opinion?
Well, I think first of all, everything is restricted to a certain age. Pornography, films.
Restricted.
Well, you can only
by
rules that you can only watch after a certain age, right? So films, they have a restriction: 12 years, 16 years, 18 years. Drive a car, you have to be 18. Right? Some countries 16. To drink alcohol is restricted. Did you vote is restricted, and now the internet.
But this is open for everyone. Yeah.
So actually, we have to think: do we really want that our children have that open window with non-knowledge? Who have to decide this is real or it's faked? So actually, who has to restrict? So the discussion is it the tech companies?
Yeah, it's very hard.
I don't think that they interested. Is it the government? For them, it's difficult too because normally they're not really educated on the level of tech companies. Now Sweden started no iPads, no iPhones in school. They back to paper from 16. Allowed. We in our school, we have iPads. We have no iPhones. Yes. But every child has a stick. How many hours a day you need an iPad?
Yeah.
At school. Maybe half an hour when you're in 3rd grade, 4th grade. Maybe 2 hours when you're in 6th grade. And after you have your stick. And we share technology.
You said stick, like a pencil?
Stick, yeah. No, it's to like a memory stick. Memory stick.
Okay.
So we share technology. You don't need for every child a computer. You have certain hour you work on the computers. And then, okay, when you then come like 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade, that's a different game. But then you're older, then you're more educated, that you can decide, oh, well, you know, do you use ChatGPT?
We do a bit. Yeah. We get often educated on how to use it.
Yes.
But me personally, seldom, not very often.
Well, it's very interesting. You know, I use it because I'm very badly educated. I mean, if I have to write a letter...
But your life has educated you.
Yeah, sure, but I don't have the basic education to write a letter to a government or to somebody. Okay, so I use ChatGPT. And then I realized I say to ChatGPT, translate my letter, right? And then they translate it. Whoa! Sometimes there's words I don't even understand, right? And then I said, that's a bit funny. I said, can you make another version?
And it does it in
something
seconds.
Totally else comes out. So at the end, it's me who have to decide, is it this version? Is it this version? Or is it this version? So for this, again, I need experience. Maybe I don't need this high education, but I need to understand what ChatGPT give me. I have to understand to read the letter. So I have to make a decision which variation of ChatGPT do I use. Understand?
So I think the education will have to look very different now.
I think this is a help for us. Technology
Yes,
always
definitely.
should be a help, but we should be able to judge, to understand, to control what we are working with.
I think the discussion on the regulations around ChatGPT or the internet in general is always very hard.
It's big. It was at the World Economy Davos, in Davos. It was one of the main topics. Do you know how many?
Who do you give the power to decide?
No,
on
how
this?
many more children we need psychiatry treatments? How many more children have to jump out of the window on the balcony to kill themselves because they can't deal anymore with the pressure of today? How many more children will never reach what the dream is because the dream is so far away you can't reach? It's faked. It's not real, right?
Yes,
so I think as a human, as a community, we have to try how far do we go, or so we just let it run and then everybody kills themselves and then this and that and what is it for a whole generation if maybe 80% can never reach their goal? What is the frustration?
What would you suggest for parents to not give the...
Well, I think first of all, I think it should be parents guided, and maybe for this parents have to a little bit change their itinerary because they use this as a nanny. They give the phone because they want to be quiet. They give the iPad because they're quiet. I mean, they don't take time anymore to take care about their children, number one. Number two, I think schools have to be very careful. How do they implement that, at school as a learning instrument? Learning is great. Because, you can get everything immediately. If I say, there is like new bananas now and they're straight, they're not bended anymore. You go and Google and they say, is there a straight banana? They say, no, it's only bended banana. You know what I mean? It's very quick. Information is very quickly.
Yes.
And it's, but also maybe this information might be faked. You don't know.
It's hard to filter through everything.
It's hard to filter through. So you have to have a little bit your own understanding. Is it possible? I say, one guy was running in 2 hours naked up to Everest.
Yeah, there's no way to prove.
Sounds really strange. You go to Google and find out, you need so many altitude levels and you need oxygen, and well, if you're naked, you would freeze to death. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's a stupid kind of thing. Yeah. But we have to consider if an answer we get or a result we get, is it possible or is it totally fake? We still can be faked. And if you take politics, with this alternative facts.
Alternative facts.
Alternative facts is something that it's not true. Well, that's Donald Trump came out with alternative facts because what he actually tells us is a lie. But then you have 40% of the American population who believes what he tells them. Now you ask yourself, is they also dumb? Or is he so good? Or why do they believe a man who is a rapist, who is a criminal? Why would 40% of the American population want a man like this as a president? You ask yourself, where do we go? Where is our direction we go? So you even ask yourself, is it this because we have a really bad education system? Don't we have like individual care anymore, or we are like a herd of sheep? One says left and everybody goes left, one says right. But we who are Benedict said, why do I have to go left? First we question. Why do I have to go right? Why can't I go straight? You know what I mean? It's this culture we have to question things, right? And then out of the question thing you get an answer, and then maybe you can refer to something else, right? But I think, yes, there needs regulation, and I don't think the parents can regulate it. I don't think the school can regulate it. It's government or tech. And I don't think the tech will be only do it if they find them in billions of dollars for everything what they publish was fake.
If it's the government that regulates it, then it's the party that is ruling at that moment. So then
of course,
it's also
there's
very
the other
political.
hand. So both sides have risks. So, but it doesn't matter who regulates. I mean, we have traffic regulation. Like in Switzerland, when you drive with 100, maybe you get a fine. If you do it in Singapore, you go 10 years to jail.
Yeah, Singapore, they regulate.
Yeah, so I mean, you know, that's the difference. This always will be. But the question is, do we start somewhere? And is there borders? Right? And then from the borders, yes, it's actually the politicians then who will define where is our borders. Is it here the limit, or is it here the limit, or where is it? And again, in a democratic country, the people will at the end decide by voting which levels they want. Well, if we live in Russia or in North Korea.
But even with the democracy now, if we have the internet that influences us so much.
Yeah, of course.
Even if we vote, we are already influenced. So
but the problem is again, where do you get your information? If it's only on Facebook or only through ChatGPT, or do you have... That's why we still need very good radio and TV program where both sides have a possibility to, you know, explain us what they mean, and you need a moderator in the middle and say, okay, you spoke 10 minutes, they can spoke 10 minutes, tasting, and also in a manner with respect to each other. Like in America, the politics is just trashing each other, you know, and you ask yourself, what is coming out of that, right? And I think, well, that's the way we go. This is the modern world. We don't have the horseman anymore who comes with a blade and chops your head off, right? It has changed. And the question is, how much can we live in this world? And also, you have to understand there's 70% of the world population who don't understand because they don't have the education to understand. And that becomes the problem for us. It's not our first world, it's the other world who has like no way to pick up. And this is the problem in the future. We have another problem. This is demography. We overage totally. Singapore couples don't make children. Chinese don't make children. In Switzerland, in 2030, 50% of the people older than 65 years. So we have 50% left. From then, 25% studies and go to school. So there's 25% left who have to generate all the money that we have that, well, roads, insurances. Is a problem. So either we invest in bringing outside worker, but then you have the right wing, SVP, who say, no, we don't want, you know, we have to isolate, we have to build a wall, and you have the left, no, it's our duty, we have to bring them in. And then it's the matter, does the government generate enough tax money actually to pay for this? I mean, we're going to spend $1 billion for the Ukraine.
Yeah.
So where do we take it from? From the international aid. Actually, we suffer here. We're not getting the money anymore. Because
all the international aid?
Yeah, this is the Entwicklungshilfe, this is the international support.
Cambodia?
Yeah, in Cambodia, in Vietnam, in Thailand, in Africa, in South America. So we have 2.2 billion as a package, and 1 billion, bye-bye, is gone to Ukraine. In one country, to help to rebuild it. Then you also have to ask, Jan, what about the rest? You know, we don't live much from the Ukraine, but we live from Africa, we live from Asia, we live from rice, we live from the production, we live from cheap shoes, cheap clothes, from all this kind of thing. That's where we live on. And now we suddenly, we can, I mean, the ambassador tells you here, now it's hurting. Till now we were just cutting a little bit, but now it hurts. It's painful now. So, but you can't change that. You have to also understand that the state doesn't give money into another country because they're poor, because they're hungry, or because they're sick. They have an agenda. It's a political agenda. So it's tax money. So they have to justify, why do they give this to a country, right? So there is 3 points. Democracy, we want that other countries become like us. Human rights, because that they understand human rights like us. And then take care about the environment. That's why we give money to the government. That's why we as an NGO, we're not getting money, because we are non-government.
But that's what you would like to do, but that's not the government's agenda.
The government agenda is this: democracy, environment, and human rights. But I have no influence in a foreign country. It's only the state who has. So that's why they give the money to them. And they give the money to them and say, hey, you have to become democratic. And the government, the foreign government said, yeah, sure. They put it in the pocket, but nothing more. Because there is no liability on that side. So there's all these systems. You need a few, and you have to ask yourself, where does this money go? Why they are here? What is the Well, the duty is here, you know. We have the SDGs and we have this and we have that and this. But when you start to scratch on it and look down,
it doesn't actually come where it should be, right? You were talking about UNESCO as well.
yeah,
It doesn't go where
come on, that is
it
a
should.
human right for children for education. Since 30 years we are here. Why still we have 80% of the children who can't read and write?
Sorry.
We still 80% of all the children here in this country, they can't read, they can't write, they can't understand what they read. You have to ask yourself, you have to ask a question, no? That's what I say.
Yes.
You know, if you have no education, say, okay, that's this. ChatGPT tells us. Well, I ask a question.
With education, you can actually
Why?
filter through it.
Why? Why we give billions of dollars in this country and why nothing moved, or it moved only a little? But we moved that much and they only moved little. What is the future? If they're not coming eye and eye to our level, what kind of partnerships we have? If you have a family, you have 4 children, and 3 children are perfect, go to school, everything. You have a child down here, right? Do you let it there? No. You start lift up, try everything to bring that child to that level. Because actually we are a family, the whole world, we are a family. And actually we should work on that. Everybody kind of on a similar level. Not everybody can become a millionaire or a billionaire or I don't know what. But at least everybody should have the right to live in a decent home, should have access to clean water, food, education, and to medical care.
It's good what you were doing. You're starting with education right here.
Yes, but the question is, I thought, why does it need me, the little Hannes Schmid who grew up in the mountain in the 50s, to come and do this? And why all the others who have all their PhDs and the billions of dollars in their bank not doing it?
It's said that all the money from all the organizations that are here to do that doesn't
we have
actually
5,000 NGOs in this country since 30 years. Where is this country going?
Very sad,
It's actually worse today than before, and we never prepared these countries for a pandemic. We were prepared for a pandemic. We had medication. We have money. We could put in $40 billion in Switzerland and everything. After, when the pandemic is over, everything works like before, right? I mean, now we don't feel anymore we had the pandemic. Yeah, we have.
But how was Cambodia affected then? The same.
Shut down. 4 years out, finish. Everything collapsed. Economy collapsed. All the schools were 2.5 years
But maybe
closed.
because of tourism, that there was no tourism.
No, also factories. There was no manufacturer anymore. There was no fabric, no
Did they close
T-shirts,
down?
no shoes, everything. In between 3 days, closed down. School closed. 2.5 years. No child.
But here, Smiling Gecko, you kept doing
Well, we
everything,
were
right?
also closed down, but then we had a good dialogue with the local government and they let us help the people. So we were, every week we have 10,000 kilo of food, we have medication, masks, anything we were giving out to the people. We were allowed to go out, they're dressed blue from bottom to top, right? And well, we gave masks, but I mean, it was laughable because, I mean, they live 12 people in a small room. They have no toilets. They have no running water.
The mask doesn't.
We put them apart and said, you have to have distance. And when we turned our back, they were all together again. There is no understanding. They don't even know what a virus is.
What is?
What a virus. They don't know.
The
People don't know what a virus is. They made dolls out of rice straw to put in front of the house that the virus can't come in.
Oh.
You can't blame them.
Yeah, no.
And also, I would say, for us, very important, we should never lose respect. It doesn't matter how many times we have to tell something, how something works. It's not their fault they've never been to school. It's not their fault they never had an education. It's also not their fault that they live in this really very poor environment. And we should have always respect to these people, because they also demand, or they should have the right of a decent life. A child should have a right of a decent life. There is laws about that, but we don't give it to them. We saw that only our children have everything. I cannot live, that's why I'm here, I cannot live with this inequality. That my children, where I come from, we have everything, we have it too much.
And on the other side,
And
you
here
have
we
all
have
these.
nothing. How do you feel? What if you would be the one on the other side? How would you feel?
So, what is the future of Smiling Gecko? Or do you have any projects outside other than the university?
No, we still develop. There's every year comes something new. We have to adapt. The world is going forward. It's turning. We have to adapt to maybe better economical situations, worse economical situation, maybe another pandemic, maybe something else, maybe to I don't know what, maybe to a war, to anything. So we cannot say. We always, what we have to do, we have to be prepared if something comes toward us. At
How
least
do you
we had.
prepare?
Well, it's that you educate people, that you start to improve your agriculture, that you have more food by yourself, and then you have to import less, that you have clean water, that you all this kind of thing, that you have a basic understanding, maybe that your housing's becoming better, cleaner, hygienically. All this we have to prepare for when it comes. You know, in 72 I met Lee Kuan Yew, the founder of Singapore, right? And I was working on our project with Lee Boon Yang. And I had one dinner, and he was very fond of Switzerland, Lee Kuan Yew. He said, this is an amazing country, and I want to copy things from Switzerland. And I said, what do you want to copy? He said, first, every Singaporean has to learn to count, to write, to read, and to understand what he reads.
That's
Every
important.
Singaporean has to be enrolled in a health system. When he gets sick, it's been taken care. Every Singaporean needs a pension fund, that when he turns 55, 60, and he's old and used, that he has a decent life, because he helped us to build up Singapore. And every Singaporean has the right to live in a decent house or apartment. So he started HDB. That is the big social housing system in the world.
It grew so fast, Singapore. Right?
Yeah, but it also grew because they invested everything in education. They invested everything. There was never a kind of friction between Indians, Muslims, Hindus.
That is something incredible in Singapore.
Yeah, why?
In one street you see all the religions.
Yeah, but it's very simple. HDB, there was 40% Chinese, so and so many percent Hindus, so and so many Malay, and then there was a little gap for it's called others. They had no other way than to live together. So when there was Hari Raya, everybody was joining Hari Raya. When there was Chinese New Year, everybody joined Chinese New Year, and the kids were mixed. That's how my wife, she's Singaporean, that's how she grew up. That's why we had an HDB, because she thought this is the best place to live, is in an HDB, because there's no racial friction.
But you could also, I thought it's only for Singaporeans.
No, yeah, but when you're married to a Singaporean, you have a status, and then you can buy, when you're married, you can buy an HDB. Right? But one part has to be Singaporean. You have to be married. A single Singaporean cannot have. You have to be married, right? So I mean, of course, we against our philosophy. We want to be free. We want to decide ourselves. You know, you won't want that the state. But in Singapore, the state is deciding everything over you.
Yeah, I spoke with a Singaporean, and she feels like in Europe it's too free, too many opinions, too everything, and she likes the regulations in Singapore.
Yeah, good. This is the problem, you know. That's why Singapore will be never free. The problem is they are too scared to decide. They're too scared to step out, because it's very comfortable in Singapore. The government takes everything about you, right? Okay, they have strict laws. If you do something, you go to jail, you get caned, you get I don't know what. But that's why Singapore will never reach an economically independence in the sense that they become entrepreneur, or that there is innovation. There's no innovation in Singapore. There's only innovation outside who comes to Singapore. I think I have to go.
Oh, good. Thank you so much.
Hello? Hello? I think I have to go. Okay, hang on. I'm coming.